Welcome back to the Rip City Basement, bridging the gap between hip-hop fanatics' demand to hear technique and today's electronic obsession, Extreme Sport Edition. I'm sitting here at the ROCKSTAR Energy Open with pro skater Chris Joslin. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's cool. This whole setup is so dope. Is this your first time in Portland?
No, it's about my fourth time in Portland.
Okay.
Yeah, but not too familiar with the place, so it still trips me out when I come here for sure.
Yeah. Where did you skate when you first came here? Is it Wall Street?
Yeah, my first skate trip, like in the van with everybody, was when I was 14 to Portland, Oregon, on a Pal Peralta trip with like DeVille, Aldrin Garcia, Josh Hawkins, Jordan Hofford. It was sick.
That is sick.
Yeah.
And you're just a teenager rolling with these guys.
Yeah, straight up.
What was that like? Was that just normal day for you, or was it a total trip?
No, at the time, that was a full trip. Like, I had just started getting free product, like free wheels, free boards. My homie Steven just hooked it up because he was on PAL at the time, too. And, yeah, I mean, they just were going on a trip, like, within the first year of me getting flowed boards. And I might have been maybe turning 15, like, right around that time. So I was like, yeah, they were just like, you want to come to Portland with us? And I was like, I'm down. So
that's dope.
Wound up here.
Nice. And you've been in town for a couple days now?
Yes, I've been in town for about 3 days now.
What did you think of the park? I know you guys got a chance to skate a little bit already. What was your first thoughts about the park setup?
I love it. It's a lot different than all the other ones. It's a lot more compact, which is like I always find myself like finding a lot of interest in, just because it's like less time to think, and like you just kind of have to skate.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't know, when you're like thinking too much, skating seems to be harder.
Yeah.
So when you can just skate and not have to like think too much, then like it becomes easier for me, I feel like.
What are the things that turns off that thinking brain? Like, how do you get yourself in that zone?
Well, I think just when you have so much time from one obstacle to the next, you can't just constantly only be thinking about the next trick you're going to try. Like, or at least I can't. Like, I start looking at the ground, wondering, like, all right, all these cracks are good, everything's good. All right, now I get to the stairs. Like, whereas here, it's just like, you don't even have time to think about what could possibly be wrong or what could go wrong. You just, like, have to react. And I think that's when your body does the best work, is when your mind just takes a break and lets your body do its thing. I mean, after all, we've been doing this for most of our lives, so just gotta trust the muscle memory and let it take over.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
How did you even get to this level to where you were able to skate competitions like this and actually travel at the pro level and skate in this industry? How did the training go for you? What were the things that you had to do to get yourself prepared for this?
So I really had no idea this would even be in my future, to be honest. I was just skating my little heart out, just a little kid from Hawaiian Gardens.
No way.
Learning tricks at the skate park, making trick lists. Like, I definitely had the heart for it. Like, it's always been like my number one thing. I've always loved it. Like, I'd go to the skate park with like literally a list of tricks written down to learn that day. Really? And I'd leave with like all 10 of them learned, and like, not because they came easy for me, but because I was there from dusk till dawn just trying to learn these tricks. And like, I wouldn't stop till I did them. And then once I would do them, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do it 3 times now, just to like make sure I got it. You know, it wasn't just a fluke. And I think maybe that really helped me dial it all in.
Got you.
Yeah.
Was the kickflip or heel flip first for you?
You know, I honestly think me and my homie randomly learned how to varial flip first.
How did that happen?
I think he just like accidentally did it one day, and like his body remembered what he did, so he did it again. And then I was like, "What? How'd you do that?" And then he was able to explain it to me. But like, we didn't have anyone teaching us. You know, we didn't have like a better skater around us to be like, "Oh, you know, you pop here, you flick here." You know, like nowadays kids have all these YouTube tutorials, so you know what and how a kickflip should be.
For sure.
You know, we didn't have that. So he just like happened to flick it and shove it, and it did a varial flip. And then I was like, "How'd you do that?" And he's like, "I just did this." And then so we ended up learning that.
Wow.
And like, yeah, we learned how to varial flip before kickflip and heel flip, and like probably before a good handful of basics that you should learn. But yeah, that's how that worked.
That's dope. What was it like growing up before 14, 15, and you're hitting the road with pros and getting all this cool footage, doing dope shit? What was it like being a kid at the skate park, and what were the obstacles that you had to kind of overcome just to be able to do this sport?
You kind of got to overcome being raised by your peers. Like, I grew up with like being like, if you're referring to like when I was 8, 9 years old, all the people I was around was like 17, 19, 20, like that age group, you know what I mean? So I was always around people older than me. Like, I can remember being like 12 years old, and these dudes were all older and shit. Like, we're all good homies, don't get me wrong. I go to this place every day. They know me. I'm like the local kid, you know. They bum cigarettes off my grandma and whatever. It was tight. It was just how the way things were back then. But I remember vividly, like, one time these two dudes who are like still my homies to this day, but they were always bigger than me and older than me, and they like pinned me down, drew a big ass dick on my stomach, and I like started crying. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, so you kind of got to go through some shit like that too, or at least maybe not everybody does, but at least in my time growing up and the people I was around, that was just kind of some shit you had to deal with, you know? Like, these dudes are over here doing this to me, the other dude's over on the bench selling drugs. Like, you're not surrounded by the greatest people. I mean, I guess it would kind of be similar to like living here, you know, but it's just kind of like, your local skate park's usually like downtown Portland, for lack of better words.
Interesting.
You know, but at least, and if it's not, you're stoked. You probably live in a great neighborhood, and good for you.
I get it, man. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little, growing up, I mean, even just a couple decades ago in this sport, the whole culture, I mean, any skatey area was a little scummy, a little grimy. Yeah. You know, you still had to sweep things out.
For sure.
And like you were saying, there wasn't technology to help learn these tricks. There was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater tips Volume 1, tips Volume 2. You remember
those? You had
to
like unlock in his game, all that. I was just like, oh, what?
But how do you see the culture from when you started to now? Has it changed at all, or is it just same old same in your head, or where do you see it going?
I mean, I'm so in it that it's kind of hard for me to have that outside perspective that I had when I was a kid. But I definitely feel like times are changing. There's a lot more accessible ways to become a pro skateboarder. Like I was overhearing one of my buddies telling me that his team manager was telling him, like, yeah, just get your views up on YouTube and we'll turn you pro.
That's it?
And that's for, I won't go into like details, but yeah, that was for a company that he rides for, and they were just telling him, like, get your views up on YouTube, kind of become more trending in that area, and we'll turn you pro. Whereas, like, most of the time growing up, it was like you film a video part, you pay your dues on the team, and that's how you turn pro. You know? And I don't know if he had to do any of that. The dude just told him, get your views up on YouTube and you can go pro. And so
Chris,
that's one example of how times are changing.
Dude, that almost feels like a cheat code that you weren't supposed to, you know, because then it's not based off of skill, right? It's based off of media.
Yeah, when you first asked this question, I was going to sum it up for you and say, for lack of better words, these kids got it easy. I'll be honest with you. They've got it pretty damn easy these days. That's how I'll put it. You know what I mean? Like, it's at their fingertips, and like, yeah, it drives me crazy too sometimes. Like, my homie back home, like, I was trying to get him hooked up with so much stuff and, like, you know, give him the ride. You know, I had access, so I was like, I'll try to help you out, and just didn't have the drive. And he's like almost 10 years younger than me, so he comes from like the younger generation where they've got it easy, and so it's almost like they've got it too easy to where they don't even like want to work for the little bit they do. You know? It's a crazy time we're living in right now. So yeah, it's like, I don't know.
Do you see it in competitions when you're skating with younger skaters? This isn't to dog out the youth. Skating is ageless, genderless. It doesn't matter, man. If you're dope, you're dope. But when you are skating in competitions, can you see the differences between generations of skaters just within style or just how they handle themselves at these competitions? Is it a clear difference that you see?
No, because you do have your rare few of like the new dudes that are also inspired by like real street skating too and stuff like that, where like they maybe come from a broken home where they're not having access to all this internet stuff that we did, and like, so you still do get the kids that come from like similar backgrounds as to when we did, that like can relate to the love that we have for skateboarding still, versus the kids that like maybe come from like a pretty well-off home that have like your access to Woodward and your YouTube tutorial videos and everything like right there, like at your fingertips. It's like you can have both of those out there, you know what I mean? So it's like you don't really see it too much because not all of one is taking over yet. You know, there's still a mix.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it could really work in your favor too, because I'd love to have more access, you know, to learning new tricks while I'm going through it.
Yeah.
But you seem like the type of dude that almost can't get enough of skateboarding. Like, I feel your energy is not, I don't think this is just a sport for you. What does skateboarding mean to you? How has this changed your life and developed? Because I can sense that in you, that this isn't just a hobby or a sport that you got good at and stumbled on. Something in you is, this is more than that, isn't it?
I had a therapist ask me recently, she goes, if I took skateboarding away from you, who are you? And I couldn't answer her.
Interesting.
So that'll tell you that.
That's
like,
all I need to know.
Whoa. Wow. She blew my mind.
And still, you still hadn't gone home and thought about, like, what would I be doing?
I have, and there's nothing else.
Nothing. Mine's
Like,
blank.
Just
You know what I like? Why I like that answer is because that's the true answer of someone who loves this and breathes it. And whether the accolades came, I think you were going to do this to the next level regardless.
yeah,
That's dope.
pretty much.
How about music, man? Are you inspired by music either while you're skating or just like getting pumped up for it? How do you skate, like music-wise?
I can kind of listen to anything except techno.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's never really resonated with me well. But when I'm just chilling and driving, I listen to country. When I'm skating, I'm either listening to like some sort of rap or rock. And then, yeah, that's kind of just how that fluctuates. I've gotten a lot bigger on country lately. It was kind of just something that I just spun into my playlist here and there. But as of lately, I don't know why, that's kind of been like my main source of music is just country. And then when I'm skating, it's not as upbeat as I need it to be, so then I'll go back to the rap and the rock for that. But yeah, for the most part, it's just country.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I love that, man. Last question I wanted to ask is, what do you see in the future for you, Chris? Like you personally, is it always going to be skating and competing? Do you have other interests in like starting your own brand or team, or is there anything else that like you're really passionate about as far as like next chapters in your life?
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I've kind of like taken my health a lot more serious lately, and like really like stepped up my game there, and like I feel like physically I'm in like one of the best shapes I felt like as far as my whole career's been going. So I don't want to jinx myself in any way, but I kind of feel like I'm in my prime right now. So the only thing I can really focus about feeling this good is just keep skating.
I love that.
Keep going, because I'm not stupid. I know it ain't gonna last forever, but man, am I gonna try and beat the fucking stereotype of like mid-30s, you gotta be done. Like I want to at least get to like, I don't know. I don't even want to put a number on it because I just want to go till I can't no more.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, I'm stoked to watch you this weekend in the competition, the ROCKSTAR Energy Open here in Portland, Oregon. Chris Joslin sitting here on the Rip City basement. What can we expect to see from you style-wise? Like, what makes you a different skater than the rest of the skaters we're going to see this weekend?
Well, I guess speaking from my perspective on it, I've always really liked more tight-knit kind of like obstacles, like where they're not spaced out so much. And I feel like, I don't know, like something about that is just usually when I do my best skating, when I don't have to like be so spacious in between obstacles like I was saying. So I think, I don't know, I feel like this course is really like built for me in the sense of like not just obstacles, but the space of it is just something I think I'm going to have a lot more fun on than I normally do. So
Dope.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too. Hey, thank you so much for rocking with me, brother.
Hell yeah, Brendan.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys, man.
Rip City basement, we out.